everyone, welcome once again to another episode of Shred Your Halo. I'm your host, the host with the most. My name is Edel and this is my best friend Jharna.
Hi.
And thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to make videos for you because it helps us delve into the things that we keep hidden in our shadows as well. Just before starting this video, we were talking about how actually quite brave we actually are by making ourselves so vulnerable to whoever watches these videos. So I hope that is in its own backhanded way, dear viewer, an invitation to you to be vulnerable as well. So that's kind of like a caveat before we start this topic because it's not going to be pleasant. So what's new, right?
Like every other video ever.
Right, so this topic is why we resist and why we make the achievement of the things that we want, why do we make the process difficult for ourselves? So we want to start off by giving a couple of examples to illustrate what we actually mean, so you could get a clearer picture of what we're talking about. Would you like to go first, Jharna?
Sure. One of the things that I want to do is wake up early, but somehow I just don't do it all the time. I do it once in a while, but that also depends a lot on what my schedule is like for the day. So if I don't have anything active happening in the morning, I just choose to sleep in a little later. And when I wake up, I don't feel so great about it. And there's this self-talk in my head where I keep saying, oh, you know, I really should be doing this more. And that is not a very pleasant feeling. So that is something I would definitely like to work on. And I think somewhere I know why I do it, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
Another thing that I do is make better choices when it comes to eating healthy. The last few months since I've been staying here with you, that hasn't been difficult. But when I live by myself, I choose to order food from outside, and I do that more often than I'd like to. So that is something, you know, I mean, I want to be healthy, but somehow I just...
The desire to eat healthy and the desire to wake up early is there, but the biggest hurdle is you.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like we have this multitude, right? And it's just this one sane cell is pointing in the right direction and the rest of the cells are pointed in the opposite direction. And it's like...
It's not like they're even in contact with each other, I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I've got like a couple of examples. For instance, the goal was to do one large painting per month. And I love painting. It's not like I don't love it. I absolutely love painting. I look forward to painting. But I only look forward to painting when I'm not in the presence of my paint materials and my canvas. When I'm at work, I'm daydreaming about painting. Oh, I'm going to paint when I get home. When I come home and I have access to my canvas and my paints, suddenly something like things become more important. Like I want to clean the apartment becomes more important.
Oh, how about we watch that cat video first?
Or oh yes, lol cats. Or you know, read this one, only just little bit of this article about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, or just this one tiny little video,
Or an article about procrastination.
or an article about procrastination, and the canvas is right there, right? It's right there. And I know, and when I paint, there's not one time I have ever regretted painting. I've always enjoyed, even if it's just a couple of strokes of my brush, I've enjoyed it. But I have no clue why I don't.
Yeah, even I like it when I wake up early because I feel like, my God, this almost feels like an achievement because it doesn't happen so often.
Yeah.
When I eat healthy, I can feel it in my body. But yeah, yeah.
And then I think this one, I don't know, I thought of this example, but this Sunday has been so good. Like what happened was, I tend to, because work is a bit difficult and hectic, in my head I keep thinking, you know what? I can do this on Sunday. I've got Sunday. I can do that on Sunday. So I put a lot of pressure on Sunday. Like I put a lot of pressure on sleep. If I come back from work stressed out, I don't deal with the stress. I know technically I should deal with the stress and I should go to sleep peacefully. Sleep should be about replenishment and restoration, should not be about clearing up of a debt from lack of saving. It's almost like using a credit card, you know? And I keep doing this to myself and I keep thinking, when I sleep, I shouldn't put pressure on my sleep to do everything and somehow make everything magical. And the next day should be magical because I slept. That's like way too much pressure to put on a physiological function. Like, I know this. And on Sundays, I do this on Sundays as well. And I've done this all my life. So, I don't know why I don't change it. I mean, I have a weird clue because, well, I came up with the topic, so.
That's a vague idea, right? Yeah.
So I don't think, so there are many, these are simple reasons. But what if you want to love your wife or you want to love your husband, but everything in you, you're repelled by them. You want to be good to your friends, but you never pick up the phone, you never text back, never keep an appointment with them, never honor a commitment to meet them or be with them, right?
Or reach out even.
Yeah. What if you've in your head, you've decided that you want to build bridges with a lost relationship or, get in touch with your cousins or your relatives or something, and you keep postponing it, right? Some of life's greatest moments are lost even before they can happen.
Yeah, but we're not giving them a chance at all. Yeah.
What do you think you're losing as a result of you being your biggest hurdle to things that you want?
I feel like I'm not giving myself the importance.
No. Before we go there, sorry, I'm interrupting myself and then I interrupted you. Sorry. Like, why do you want the two things that you want?
I think
Why do you want to wake up at 5?
I like it when I wake up at 5.
But clearly that reason is not
enough. It's not enough.
See?
Because earlier I remember there used to be certain things I would do at 5 in the morning. It would make me wake up because I felt like I had a purpose when I woke up at 5.
Yeah.
And I would wake up at 5. I would wake up at 4 if it required. But now I feel like I need a sort of a purpose to wake up early.
But isn't that the truth about life? Like, we all need a purpose, no, Jharna?
Yeah.
Without a purpose,
what's the point?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the original purpose that propelled you to wake up at 5, it doesn't hold water anymore. You've passed that stage in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I need to find a new purpose that will make me want to get out of bed.
Or maybe you don't need to get out of bed at 5. Are you holding yourself hostage?
It's not like 5 a.m. every day, but a little earlier. Now I wake up at 6 on most days, which is good enough considering I've been doing this for a year or so. But the days I don't have to wake up at 6, I wake up at 9. So I want to wake up at least at 6. It's not like super early.
What when you wake up at 9, what's going on inside of you? Do you feel rested and happy, or do you give yourself a bad time about it?
I actually feel even more tired because I've slept way more than I needed to. So I feel more tired and I feel like, I wish I'd woken up a little bit early. But somehow that's not making me change my habits.
See? So we need a purpose that makes sense.
Yeah.
For a goal to be set. A goal without a purpose, it
it
doesn't make sense, right?
No.
But at the same time, regret is no fuel to achieve what
It's
we
not
want.
going to change what you want
So
to change.
you're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Having a goal, but no purpose or reason or flesh and blood for that goal.
Yeah.
And if you don't reach that goal, because there's no atma to that, reaching out for it, there is lots of regret. You're caught between those two, isn't it? Like, oh.
Story of my waking up at 5.
Right. Now, for me, the reason for doing my paintings, one painting every... this situation is completely different. I enjoy just a little bit of stress.
Just a little bit?
I was just saying, I was supposed to have finished a particular painting in June, but it's almost mid-July now.
Today is 6th, I think.
But we're recording it on the 6th and we're going to put it up at the end of this week. So closer to the mid of June, and hopefully, I don't know, I hope I get it done. And I do enjoy it. But what I want is that tad little bit of drama racing against the clock. And I was doing my June painting and I kept telling Jharna, I just wish June had like 4 more days. That's all I need, like 4 more days.
And I was trying to find a loophole.
And here we are, 6 days into July.
Yeah.
And even if June had 4 more days, I still wouldn't have done. I do enjoy the race against time. My mind gets a bit clear and I get still, and I feel like there's chaos around, and I operate so well in that kind of a thing. May not be the healthiest thing, but maybe it's time for me to not stop punishing myself into thinking I should be this earth mother who does everything every day.
But
in this
it's
predictable manner.
also possible that you're trained to be a doctor and you're trained to stay calm when everything hits the fan. Maybe that is what you're bringing into this aspect of your life as well.
But maybe, but I also, all my life I didn't have routines. I didn't grow up in a household that honored routines and discipline and self-expression and learning who you are and things like that. So considering that I came from chaos, creating cosmos for myself, maybe I'm also in the period of transition before we get into clarity. So let's not, like, this topic is not to say, oh, you're going to be a boulder in your own way forever and ever. You're never going to achieve your dreams.
It's like we're just trying to figure out what other ways we can move that hurdle.
Yes. So, so these are the things. Caught between a rock and a hard place is one of the main reasons why we feel stuck in life, and wanting to create a stress, maybe because you lack, I don't know, maybe because I lack excitement in my life. I don't know what it is that need to, like, have an action movie in my head. I don't know. Probably that's the reason why. I don't know. So there could be many reasons. We need to come up with a very, very honest and authentic reason. And there is no wrong answer, is there?
Yeah. Something that is sustainable for the longer period of time. I've also noticed that I have a tendency to want external motivation because of the situation I'm in. So if somebody motivates me, I'll be like, okay, yay, let's go get it done. and then the motivation is gone. I'm like, okay, now I'm left to my own devices.
How do you feel when there's an external motivation? Do you feel grateful and happy always, or do you feel resentful and angry?
It's a combination of both. Sometimes I feel great. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, just leave me alone.
But do you feel like, can you take any credit at all if it's an external motivation for it, when deep down inside you know it's because of the external motivation?
I just feel relief more than taking credit, because I would have done something and finished it. It's, yeah.
So you are not there in the equation. The thing that needs to be done,
It
got
just
done.
gets done. Yeah.
Wow, that's painful to hear, isn't it?
It is. And sometimes I feel like I'm not able to break out of that cycle.
Huh. But since we're on the path of self-discovery,
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time. Like, okay, so what are the two personal reasons for why we do what we do? Like, I gave my example of my painting and putting pressure on sleep and on Sundays, and you gave the example of waking up at 5 and eating right and still making it difficult for ourselves. So what are your top two personal reasons for why you are your own big stumbling block?
I can definitely think of one huge reason that might cover a lot of other bases. Sometimes I wonder if I'm worth all that effort. And
Yes, you are! Oh my god, yes you are!
There are some days when I feel that I am, and those days I tend to do a lot of things. Some days I don't feel that, so I'm a potat on those days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still working on trying to understand parts of me that I've rejected for so long. And I think
Well
that
done.
will get me to a place. So now, the other day when we were talking about what our purpose is and you were giving me ideas about stuff, it made me think of a question which could possibly help me break out of this rut that I'm in, is what way can I nurture myself in? This could be applicable to any situation.
Yes.
So the answer may not be loud and dramatic like we want it to be in our head. It's going to be so quiet, you have to listen for it. But I think that's one thing I'm going to try asking myself more often.
Yeah.
And I want to be worthy of myself,
Yeah.
So I didn't think I was a few years ago. It's changing a little bit.
You're much closer.
It's going to take a little bit more time. I mean, if it takes all my life, it takes all my life. But I think that's the biggest reason why I'm stuck where I am right now. But I can feel a little bit of movement. And I'm not so... there are times when I feel very rigid and I want to break free, but I can't because I literally feel like I'm, sort of bound and trapped. But there are sometimes I notice there's a little bit of wiggle room. So I try to get things done when that wiggle room is there. So maybe it'll give me a little bit more expansion.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest reason why. Other than this, I don't know if I can think of any other reason because I feel like this covers all.
Yes, I completely agree with you on that one. And also, when human psyche, we will choose familiarity over what is good and elevated for us every single time. The adage of a known devil is better than an unknown angel holds true every single time. We will go and gravitate towards what's familiar rather than the possibility of great, amazing, beautiful destiny ahead of us if we but changed one little thing. Changing habits and changing our character and who we are and rewriting the script that we've been handed down is not...
It's not a good script.
Thank you for being so effing blunt. Yeah, I wasn't handed a good script by anybody. I mean, I'm not going to take anything that I've been taught. I'm rewriting everything. Yeah, the entire script. You know what? Let's give a high five that we're doing that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know, we're not set in our ways. We're genuinely looking to change our lives.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that, you know what? You don't try to change something that you haven't taken ownership of.
Yeah.
And that is the first step in being worthy of you.
Yeah.
How can you be worthy if you are performing like a servant in front of an impersonal, split up you?
The audience is in my head.
Yes.
There's such a big audience, right? Yeah. I need to take ownership of my life. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I've seen you take ownership of your life in many, many ways. Yes, you have. You've done a great job, Jharna. So for me, I think maybe in my case, maybe I just am a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, and maybe expecting me to not be that is cruel. Maybe expecting me to be this artist who will come back and paint like a part of the canvas every single day. No, because I work in the COVID ward, my moods cannot possibly be the same, and I have to make wiggle room for that. And maybe for me, what I take from this conversation is accepting me just where I am. I mean, I'm not going to, there's no way I'm going to like rewrite art or anything like that. I'm painting for my pleasure, right? And because all my friends tell me I'm a good artist. So, so that's all I do it for. So calm down, calm down. You can just, if you like a little bit of stress, give yourself a little bit of stress. I mean, I like coffee in the morning.
Drink lots of coffee and you will be buzzed the whole day. And then you can get your painting done last minute.
Yeah. And then it's like, and making sleep my friend, instead of this huge pressure that I put on sleep and on Sundays, maybe just not. Try not to.
I think putting pressure on things is what makes us more and more trapped in where we are. Wow.
Sometimes we just need to, we need you to just, okay. I think we can end the conversation now. Oh, but that's true. Yeah. Maybe we are not the obstacles. The goal is the obstacle.
Or it could be both.
Yeah. Right? For me, the goal of painting every day is going against my character and who I am as a person. So putting a goal, which is not me, is not going to make me achieve it.
But I think that is also something that we take time to understand, right? Because we want to put certain goals, then you start working in that direction, and then you know whether or not that goal is meant for you. And then you change it along the way.
Yes.
And not be so, bent on achieving that goal, even if you're just driving yourself to the ground.
But till so far, we've only discussed about how hard we've tried to reach a goal and we failed. We've not talked about putting absolute minimum effort to reaching a goal and then like blaming the goal and like it's not there. When I was in med school, I was studying for an exam and I was just weeping my eyes out because I was so stressed. And this senior comes up to me and says this particular proverb in Tamil. She says, Mayra katti malaya ilu. Vanda mala pona mayra. Loosely translated, it means take your hair, tie it to a mountain and pull it. If it comes, you get a mountain. If it doesn't, you've lost a hair. So for
we're setting such a good example right now.
Oh my God, but it was like such, I've never heard this wisdom because it was such wisdom at that time, right? And I was studying for pharmacology. It was such a nemesis. And I thought, okay, let me just put, it made the giant, which is pharmacology, made it seem accessible and easy because all I had to do to lasso a mountain is use a hair. And I knew no matter how much I tried, the fear of the subject is going to make me think that I've only put a hair. And this was such a perfect little adage. But translated, I sometimes wonder, how many relationships, friendships, relationships, with relatives, with family members, with our significant other, where we do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because we have low self-esteem. We want to do the bare minimum and expect them to jump through hoops for us. And if they don't, we think, oh, yeah, well, you know, it's their fault.
Yeah.
What, can you think of any examples where you've used hair for a mountain?
I would have to say waking up early.
No, but basically, do you think that everything that you want in your life, you're going full steam passion for getting it?
Not always, no.
How often do you go full steam, percentage-wise?
Very little, actually.
Isn't that a scary thought?
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking this whilst I was driving back home, and I was like, oh my God, I live such a dispassionate life.
Yeah.
I don't go after what I want, you know? I mean, I do much more than I ever did before. Like, professionally, I've always been a go-getter. Everything else in life, I'm learning for the first time. And
yeah, because when it comes to work, I know I do well at work, no matter which place I've worked at. It's outside of work that's... Yeah.
Because if when people talk about their character in terms of their profession, I'm like, you get paid for it. That's done. The transaction is over.
Who are you outside of that?
Yeah, you work and you get paid. Finished. Don't talk about it anymore. And then don't let your life revolve around work and be defined by something you've gotten compensated for. So calm down, right? Who hasn't got a job? Everybody's got a job. Everybody's earning money. Calm down. What do you do? Who are you? What would you do if you didn't get paid for it?
Yeah. What would you do in life if you weren't getting paid, right? Yeah.
Who would we be? Right? These are questions we need to ask. Are we putting full-fledged effort into something that we are not very passionate about and a goal that doesn't make much sense to us? Are we deliberately pushing the goal just out of reach because we're addicted to the rush it gives us in the last minute reaching of the deadline? I was about to say jedline. The deadline. Are we putting minimum effort? Because deep down inside we think we're not going to achieve that, right? So we're putting like minimum effort, hoping for maximum return.
Or you're trying to compare yourself to other people's goals and then decide that you want it to be your goal, whether or not it actually suits what you're looking for.
Yeah. Just so we can feel bad about each other. Yes. You know, just so we can feel bad about ourselves, right?
And then feel self-righteous about feeling bad.
So, wow, that we've uncovered like so much. So.
All of you will need therapy after this.
So thank you for joining us and helped us. It also makes us talk very super fast. We get into the deep level when we're doing it in front of the camera, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us this week while we try to uncover why we become the stumbling blocks for us to reach the very goals that we say we want in our lives. Are those goals authentic? Are we passionate about those goals? Why are we passionate about those goals? Is it us? Why we do what we do is who we are. So let's be clear about why we do what we do. And let's be passionate. What we do, let's give it our all. And if we fail, let's fail spectacularly. Let's not always live in the gray zone of if only, what if. Let's forget. That's not safety living there. No. If only I had done that, I would have reached that. Is poor consolation. Do it all, you know, and I think I'm going to follow my own advice. And going forward, well, half of 2020 is over. It's time to buck up and get going.
Yeah.
Do you want to say any last words, Jharna? Not like you're dying or anything. But
no, I think just asking myself what you know, like you always say, right, what is in it for me? That is something, yes, I would like to adopt that as well. What ways can I nurture myself and listen to the voice that comes out from, you know, every single thing that I do, I want to ask myself that question and then do it to the best of my ability. So yeah, I think that's something I would definitely like to ask myself. I think it could apply to a lot of other people as well. So yeah.
So maybe because we've got half a year left, maybe we can catch up to a lot of things we've let slide because we pretended we were so scared of COVID, and maybe because of lockdown, maybe because it is a very difficult thing, yes, but by and large, for the most part, I don't think I've been terribly affected by it. Were you?
No.
Yeah. So the people that haven't been affected, let's try and go back to the drawing board. Yeah. And we can restart again. For the people who are struggling, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Just calm down, relax, breathe. Take it one step at a time. Putting pressure on yourself is cruel. Don't do that. And for people who are already way ahead of us, thank you, because I mean you're quite the inspiration, and we would like to get there too. So for the rest of us, this is hope. We've got half a year ahead of us. We can do it. So thank you for joining us on Shred Your Halo this week. And we'll meet you again in another couple of weeks like we do every fortnight. So this is me, Edel, and this is Jharna signing off. If you liked our video, please like, click subscribe, and if you loved it enough, share it with anybody that you think would benefit from this. We'll see you in a fortnight. Bye-bye.
Bye.